The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? You remember that monster in your closet? Would you ever bang it? Amber and Scott discuss this and other weird scenarios after watching Your Monster. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
Well, this movie pretty much just proves what I've already known. Women just love monsters.
Rawr! Yes, this episode is about Your Monster. After her life falls apart, soft-spoken actress Laura Franco finds her voice again when she meets a terrifying yet weirdly charming monster living in her closet. A romantic comedy horror film about falling in love with your inner rage. So what'd you think?
I liked the movie. I actually really liked the movie. I mean, there were some interesting concepts, but I mean, at the end, you pretty much, remember always spoilers, you pretty much figure out that it's a Fight Club thing going on there, and the monster didn't actually exist.
Wait, what?
The monster didn't actually exist.
Yeah, no, I heard you. I didn't say repeat yourself. I said, wait, what?
Well, they pretty much showed at the end because when the director gets viciously murdered,
Yeah,
and they show clips showing that it's the monster that killed him,
yeah.
but in the end, you look at the wounds and you know that it's basically she took a snapped in half yardstick to his throat.
Oh, I thought the monster did that.
Well, it did, but she is one with the monster. They are one.
Okay, so I don't know. This is news to me. I did notice that the monster didn't have blood on him and she did. Is that what that meant?
Well, right at the very end, they kind of did a thing with the eyes, kind of showing that they were one and the same person.
What'd they do with the eyes?
You'd have to see it.
Well, I did see it. I didn't see anything.
Apparently not.
What did they do with the eyes to let you tell you that this was a Fight Club situation?
It was they put the monster's eyes onto her at the end.
I don't know anything about that. So I think this is interesting because we seem to have this conversation more regularly than one would think, in that we see a movie and I just completely take it at face value. Yes, a monster lives in her bed. Yes, someone can fly. And you're always like, no. And we have these. It's actually been really insightful.
Yeah, it was probably, I mean, in fairness, it took me a good 2/3 or more of the way through before I was like,
But she had sex with the monster.
well, people have sex with themselves all the time. It's called masturbation.
Okay. All right. Well, we can continue this interesting conversation, I guess, after the episode, because we do have some interesting things that I think we'll both agree upon, and what actually happened in the film regarding this woman who was in a relationship with a guy for 5 years, and she apparently is diagnosed with cancer, and she's about to have surgery or just had surgery, and he's sitting by her bed at the hospital and says, I'm going to break up with you. I need more me time.
Yeah. That guy's a son of a bitch.
Yeah. And so they're both in the theater. And prior to this moment, they had collaborated on writing a play of which he was going to produce and give her the starring role of Lori, going to give the Lori role to Laura, which was going to be her big break, big moment, and saying that, you know, I want to do this for you. It'll be your big break, and it's amazing. So he breaks up with her, and then she finds out about the auditions, which he hasn't been notified about, and is appalled and shocked that basically her role is up for grabs, the one that was supposed to be a given.
Yeah. No. So this is interesting because I have come to learn that promises that are made inside of a relationship do not necessarily hold when you get outside of a relationship. That said, this was a bit more of a unique circumstance where, like, she was actually responsible for helping to craft that role and was a big part of it even existing. So I think you have to, I think in that case, you really have to honor it and say, okay, well, we're broken up, but this role was for you. So come play the role.
Yeah, and it's not even really clear that there's a big reason that he broke up with her, other than the fact that maybe like she had some health issues now, and I don't know, maybe that was a drag or inconvenient for him, and he just didn't want any part of it because yuck, cancer, don't want to go there.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not saying you can't break up with someone when they're sick. You can, but you can't break up with someone when they're just getting sick. Like, even if you were about to break up with them, if all of a sudden they hit you with, I have cancer, you're like, yep, I'm here for a while.
The other interesting thing is don't do it at a hospital. Don't ever break up with someone at a hospital.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to go scumbag, you go full scumbag, but
Yeah, he nailed full scumbag.
yeah, he definitely nailed full scumbag.
So what would you do if you were in his shoes and you broke up? You would still, like when she showed up to audition for the role that was hers, how would you handle that?
Oh, well, I'd never be in that position. If I had been him, I would have let her have the role because it's the only right thing to do. Now, if it was just, I'm writing this play or I've written this play and I want you to play this role, and she didn't really have a hand in its crafting or workshopping or anything like that, then I think it's fair to say, okay, well, yeah, I was giving it to you because we were dating. We're not dating anymore. I'm giving it to someone else. But she actually was pivotal in it being, like, it coming to life.
Developing that entire play and the character and every aspect of it. Okay, so let's get down to the more interesting conversation of, hey, what would you do if you moved into your mom's house, which was vacant because your mom's traveling, and you're going through all of this? You had the breakup, you just had the surgery for cancer. You go to your mom's house, which is empty, and you find out there's a monster living in the closet of your old bedroom.
Wow.
Now, that's one of the more interesting what would you do's that we've explored here.
I mean, I'm not expecting there to be somebody else in my house, and there's someone in my closet, and I'm going to freak the fuck out.
Yeah. See, and this is another reason that I don't necessarily know if I agree with you with the fact that the monster wasn't real, because she did freak out. She screamed. The monster told her to get the heck out of the house, and then she broke down and cried, and then finally he said, you have 2 weeks, you can stay. And after 2 weeks, they were kind of friendly, and he let her stay. I don't know. I don't know if I would, if it were really me, if I'd tell me that I had to get out.
Well, yes. I think for this, we have to go under the assumption that the monster was real for this discussion, because that would be weird. Yeah. No, if you tell me I have to get out of my own house, we're fighting.
But it's a monster.
I don't care.
Well, you're a guy. I guess guys kind of do fall to
Zero.
Throwing down for sure. I mean, if it were me, I'd probably do what Laura did and scream and cry but he seemed friendly, even though initially he was trying to be unfriendly to get her to leave.
Oh, I probably would have done the screaming and crying thing as well. I see a dude that looks like that.
He actually didn't look terrible for a monster.
What?
He didn't look terrible for a monster.
I mean, he didn't look terrible for a monster.
He just kind of had a Beauty and the Beast type face.
Yes. That said, I'm going to try to reason with him, and if I can't reason with him, we're going to fight.
Interesting. So, did you ever have a monster in your childhood? Anything that you were scared of in your space, or anything you perceived to be in your space or in your closet or under your bed, or any item that freaked you out as a kid? Come on, TikTok.
For any extended length of time, no.
What do you mean for any extended length of time?
I once, when I was like, I don't know, 12 or so, I woke up one morning and I thought I saw the biggest cockroach I'd ever seen in my life laying on the floor.
And then you realized it was
my
a relative?
backpack.
Oh.
Like, that's how big the cockroach was.
Wow.
I was terrified. I was not getting out of that bed. I remember that.
That's funny. I didn't have anything that I manufactured in my brain that I was frightened of. I never had that experience where some kids do, where they are fearful there's something under the bed or whatnot. I did have a clown that was at my grandma's house that sat somewhere on a shelf. And actually, now that I think about it, I have not come across this clown when I've been going through some of my family stuff. That's actually interesting. Anyway, there was a clown, and I'm not one of these that's freaked out by clowns or clowns bother me, but this clown I didn't like. And I remember going to sleep and always seeing this clown. I believe, and I wish I could confirm this with someone, but I believe that ultimately I think she started putting the clown in the closet when I came over because I think I said something. Oh, I wish I could talk to her about that.
Can't sleep.
No, it made me, I felt like it was staring at me.
I mean, it probably was.
Yeah. Well, sometimes clowns do that.
I mean, sometimes I stare at you.
So if you were in a situation where you felt that you wanted to get somehow right or wrong, the issue with Laura, as initially she was very weak and complacent, forgiving, and the monster basically said, F that, you should be mad, it's not okay, and got her to be in touch with her feelings, and ultimately to a point where she tells off the prior boyfriend at a rehearsal in front of everybody else because she was given the opportunity to be the understudy, and it seems like he offered that thinking she wouldn't take it, and she did.
Yeah, clearly he was not planning on her taking it.
Yeah, so she just lays into him about all the crappy things he did in the relationship and how what he did after that wasn't okay, and she gets fired.
Yeah, I don't know if I can support the going off during rehearsal. Like, I get the fact that she was trying to get his attention before and had failed, but I think that's one of those things you just don't do it like that.
It's hard when emotions build up, and her seeing him regularly at all the rehearsals and being exposed to him and not being able to say her piece. She never really got to say her piece in this because he basically broke up with her at the hospital and walked away. And I can understand how that would stack on itself day after day after day after day. And it started from a fairly good place in the fact that she was trying to defend the actress who had been given her role and wasn't doing it nearly as good. And he was reprimanding her, and then basically she started to defend her, and it turned into a whole "you suck, you're a terrible boyfriend, and I hate you" kind of a tirade. But I don't know.
You adult in that situation, and adulting means you do not go off on the director in front of the entire cast and crew. You find a time to do that behind closed doors. I know maybe you've tried. Well, try harder.
Yeah, I can see some maybe passive-aggressive comments leaking through from time to time. But if I were in her shoes, I wouldn't have put myself in that situation because...
No, because he was right. She was embarrassing herself.
It was... I don't even mean that situation in particular of her telling him off. I'm saying in the situation of having to be the understudy to the person who got the role that was actually written for me. I don't think I could put myself in that situation to really torture myself to sit there at every reading and every rehearsal watching someone else perform the role that was literally written for myself.
Yeah. I mean...
Sometimes people like to stay in people's spaces, too. I don't know if that's some of what was going on or find excuses to...
Oh, I think it's exactly what it was. I mean, she wanted an excuse to be there because she was clearly not over it, and he figured I'll make her an offer. I'll make her an offer she'll definitely refuse, and she didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, interesting take on the whole there.
It was a very unique film.
I mean, she definitely had every right to be angry with this dude, and I'm not saying at all she should have been angry. I just might have been angry behind closed doors, and I probably wouldn't have fought.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was a choice she made after that argument, and then that POS that he was, in case you were in doubt that he was a horrible person to begin with, after they had sex.
The post-coital news.
Yes, he told her that, oh, gee, we're going to let you go. We're going to... Yeah, you're not part of this anymore.
I mean, in fairness, though, you should know that. Like, that shouldn't... Whether you've had bang time or not, you went off on the director, really went off on the director in front of the cast and crew.
Yes, and then he kissed her And then
But
they
that
did the
doesn't matter.
deed. And then he said, oh, gee, by the way, you're fired.
But
Like,
she should
he
have.
wanted to get some, and he held on to that information. He was a terrible person.
Oh, no, he's a terrible person. She still should have known she was fired.
Yeah, and poor girl. Like, just don't go there.
Yeah, no, she put herself in situations she shouldn't have.
So I think after this film, I'm definitely pro-monster. I have a good opinion of the monster. If I was part of a focus group talking about monsters, I would definitely give the monster a good rating. I was pro-monster. Now, you telling me that the monster was actually her and that she killed the guy, that complicates matters, but I guess we can talk about that over margaritas later.
Yes, baby. Margaritas.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.